Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having as much fun doing this as I am doing it with you. I'm glad you enjoyed discovering your childhood story, your favorite childhood story. And I think it's always interesting when that story was. It's usually when we were young, and I'm saying toddler, and because someone was reading it to us. I think that's always very interesting. And what is happening is your child is ready to share that her story or his story because they're starting to trust again because you're helping he or she, excuse me, here, sorry, you're helping he or she remember their stories and they're helping you relive them. So together you can release the emotions, which is keeping that story running around inside both of you, which is then making the trigger and keeping it and blocking it, not necessarily getting rid of it, but allowing it to be small enough, thin enough, that puff, that it will just fly away on its own. But before she or he shares their story, which means they need to speak it out loud, they need your help in finding their voice once again. And to do this, you need to pull out, and I'll show you right now, share the screen. Let me go into, sorry, let me go back up here to PowerPoint. And I need for you to, can you see that? Let's make sure you can see that before I do that. Share screen. Here we are. Make sure you can see that. Not sure if that's happening. I'm sorry. Let me make sure. Share that and share. Okay. I think that should do it. Yes. Is to pull out that trigger sheet you did for show and tell that basically you filled out, what you felt in certain parts of your body and what that emotional equivalent is, because that will help the child and you tell the story. And the reason being is we've learned so far that the adult separates and identifies, analyzes, where the child synthesizes and makes it whole. What we do is like what we have been doing is who, what, where, the how and why we've always done, but the how and why is what the child and I do together, or we do together. But the adult definitely does the who, what, when, and where of any event. The child, conversely, doesn't really think like that. They do it, as we found, all through sight, what it feels like, their sensations, sight, taste, smell, sound, and touch. The adult point of view is shaped by the emotion it produced in the past. So when they're in the present, they are, with how they react is shaped by that same emotion in the past, where the point of view of the child is shaped only by what's happening and those sensations in the present. Does this feel good? Does it not? We then, after we get that emotion from the past, we start labeling it: rejection, shame, happiness, joy. The child label, what's a label? All they know is, I don't like that feeling, or that feels good. When we describe what we're feeling, we describe it in the label, but very cursory, just a label: I'm grieving, and then the event in detail that made us grieve or that made us feel rejected. A child, on the other hand, goes on and how it hurts in their body, and then just skims over the event. It's all about them. Our voice and vocabularies, we tell our story kind of with confidence, very sure of our words. And then many times as a writer, we stylize that writing with perfect wordsmithing. We want to make sure we say the right word for grief or rejection. A child just goes on because they're kind of confused, but their language, their vocabulary is very clear and simple. The reason being is an adult's goal when they're telling their story is that the listener will agree with them and validate them. The goal of a child is that the listener will just feel like them and then take the appropriate action that they can't take. So an example of what this assignment is an example I use of one of my birthdays. And this was a fifth, I don't know, maybe my fourth or fifth birthday, or I guess it was three. And I did, when did this happen? My adult said, oh, when you were 3 years old. I think of myself at that point. My child says, yeah, I raised my hand, I counted my fingers, touch, 1, 2, 3. Where were you? I was in the kitchen. And I don't, as a child, the kitchen is the room where mommy cooks dinner, but it doesn't smell like that when daddy comes home, because instead of meat in the oven, it's my cake and I smell it. Who was with you? The adult in me says mom, dad, and my sister. And my child says, but mommy's mouth is so wide, I don't even care who's in the room as a child. I just look at how they're reacting and their expressions and their sensations and what I'm seeing. Mommy's mouth is so wide, I can see her teeth like the jack-o'-lantern daddy made me at Halloween. And you can see the child's just going on and on. She's going off story, I guess, as she lights the little candles around my name. She points to it. Daddy hugs, I can't read it, tugs my hair, then puts sister in her high chair. So I feel daddy's tugging my hair. How did everyone act? I say as an adult, oh, they were talking, eating, happy. Instead, it's all about me. I poke the cake with my finger and then put the white stuff from the top of the cake in my mouth. It tastes sweet. Mommy shakes her head. Now be a good girl and wait to eat the cake after you blow out your candles. Sight, hearing, and touch. Why were they and you acting this way? I say, Mom and Dad mad after I hit my sister after blowing out my birthday candles, because what I did is sister puts her lips together and with a big puff blows out all my candles. I hit her. My ears start to burn inside when I hear Mommy yell, Susan, don't do that. So does my bottom too when Daddy pulls me away from my cake and spanks me. The reader's conclusion, as the adult said, well, the child hit her sister, so Mom and Dad scolded her for misbehaving. My conclusion as a child was, the reader was, child was hurt, so she hurt her sister. And when she was scolded by her parents, they hurt her feelings. So there was a lot of hurt going on. So here is a worksheet for you to work on to try to get that child's voice. The adult, when did it happen? Where were you? What happened? Who was with you? I'd start there. And then the child's sensations, bodily sensations, and how and the why, and then the conclusions. And then we'll discuss it and see how you do. I hope you have fun with it. Thank you, and have a great day. And don't hesitate to call me if you have any questions. Thank you.